Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Help on Wheels. You might be saying, wow, this video looks different. The truth is, it is, because I am filming this video at my home. This video is going to be a different topic than the other ones in the past, but it's still going to deal with something that is important for people with special needs and their families. A lot of people have been approaching me through my job and through just random conversation, asking me, can people who want to have a person-directed life but need support have a service animal? And if so, at least in Alaska, how do you do that? Because there's really not a direct program for that. Truth is, you can. I have one. What I'm going to talk to you about real quickly, though, is just the process I went through because people have been asking me about it. The process was simple. It's detailed, but it's simple. What I did first was I applied for a developmental disability, or ILP, which is Infant Learning Program, mini grant. Those mini grants now cover service animals. It's a one-time coverage, though. The max you can get on those grants is $2,500. After I got the grant, which you have to go through a standard process of getting medical proof that it would be beneficial, that your disability is physical or developmental to a point where you need one. I got the grant, then I had somebody help me pick a dog at the pound here in Anchorage. Had her for 2 weeks, and then I went from there, found a trainer that I used my grant money to work with me on teaching me, not training my dog, teaching me how to train my dog so that the bond would be there. At the end of that process, which took about a year and a half of me being totally dedicated, it was evident that her and I were connected. We have a good bond between us. The things that I really want to point out, though, in this video real quickly are that when you live a person-directed life and you live within services of an agency, as far as like where I live in a what's considered a group home, you have to consider things like, how is the individual going to feed the dog? How is the individual going to make sure that they can get the animal to the vet if necessary? Where the expenses are going to come from, because the grant is not going to permanently cover that. But more importantly, and this is a big one, the staff are not required, and they're not even supposed to, within any agency, to clean up after the dog. It's not part of their responsibility. So you have to budget for, and you have to figure out a way to cover that. Myself, I found a yard service that, at least here in Anchorage and in most of the state, will come out once a week for a monthly fee and help me take care of that issue around the yard during the summer and the winter. They don't just do it during the summer. That's the beneficial part of that. The huge other huge issue is you do need to take into account insurance expense, because when you're disabled, and we're talking a family with benefit needs here, the dog ages is going to get more expensive because of medical needs that the dog has. I have insurance. So these are just things you want to look at before getting the dog. And if you need help with that sort of thing, that is something I can help you with. Because again, I went through this whole process myself, and I'm more than willing to answer any questions that anyone may have. As per the course, do I think people who are challenged should be allowed to have a dog? Is that part of a person-centered and a person-directed life? Yes. Are dogs or any other version of pets beneficial for people with disabilities? Oh, good Lord, yeah. Um, but I bring this topic up because I've been seeing it lately where people say agencies won't allow me to have the animal. Well, they can if you legally get it certified. You have to go through testing and stuff for that once they're trained. But once they're trained, um, the agency can't say no. But there are things that you need to take into account, like how are you going to maintain the animal? Because it's not the agency's responsibility. That falls on either the family or you. Can that be done? And I just am saying that because I would hate anyone to go ahead and get a dog and then there be a problem later and then they have to give the dog back. Because this is a lot of effort that has to be put into creating a service dog or any service animal for that matter. And they're beneficial, but you don't want to get into a situation where you get an animal and then you can't afford it. There are ways around it. Like I said, I got mine through a shelter, and then after that, I got the grant and proceeded to get her trained. But the effort was on me for the training, and I personally think that's the best way to go. There is a website called Alaska Assistance Dogs that you can look up, and it will give you an idea of a lot of trainers in the state of Alaska that can provide the training that you need for that. The grant will require that you provide who are you going to try to get the training through, and it has to be a certified trainer, otherwise they will not fund it. The other key thing here is, and this is important, when the grant is awarded to anyone that applies for it and gets it, be aware that it's a one-time deal. They will not re-grant it again if you apply for it a second time. It's a one-time grant approval for this item. But it's worth it. And it's about the only way that I have found for somebody with a challenge of any type to be able to get a service animal and do it here in Alaska, because the only other methods that I'm aware of, especially when it comes to service dogs, is going out of state, and that's hugely expensive. If you have any other questions or concerns at this point about this item, feel free to email me at tnoah@hopealaska.org, and I will respond as soon as possible to any questions you may have. Thank you for your time, and I hope this video at least gives you a broad overview of what is necessary for service animals. Thank you.